Next time you're in Dollar Tree, grab one of their 4x6 holographic frames and we're gonna use them to make a super easy Candyland decoration. We're gonna remove the back of the frame and we're gonna get pink cardstock paper. You can get that also from the Dollar Tree. And I will measure the paper to the size of the frame using a pencil, and then we're gonna cut that with our scissors. Then I'm gonna put the pink cardstock paper and close the frame from the back. This is our first step. Then I got this beautiful sassy Santa ornament from Walmart. It was for $2.14. We're gonna cut the top string and then we're gonna place it right in the middle of the frame. I'm gonna use this piece of foam because the Santa's hat has this fair trim on the back, and if we just tuck Santa directly to the frame, it's not gonna be leveled. So I'm gonna put this piece of foam to make the Santa leveled on the frame. Then I got 2 pieces of this beautiful ribbon. You can use any ribbon that you want, or you can get any ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we will make a bow using them. So I shaped the bow and hold that with my fingers, and then I shaped the other pink bow, and I kind of tried them on the frame to which one I would like on the top. And I actually like the teal one on the top. Then I got another piece of this thinner ribbon and I tied them from the middle and made 2 knots from the back. We're gonna cut the excess and then we're gonna fluff up our bows. And with the hot glue gun, we're gonna place that right on the top of Santa's hat. And as you see, I pushed the Santa a little bit down on the frame just to fit the bows on the top too. Then of course, as we always do, we're gonna cut the ribbon ends into a fishtail. It gives the bow such a beautiful finish. Then I had this leftover piece of donuts from one of the sprays that I have. You can always make one using paper clay or using foam clay. So I removed the wire, and with the hot glue gun, I'm gonna stick that right in the middle of the bows. And look how beautiful our frame is. Looks so sassy, so beautiful, and so cute. I love how this turned out. It was so easy, on a budget, and takes less than 5 minutes. For this DIY, we're gonna start with a little piece of scrap wood. You can use any piece that you have, or you can get one from the Dollar Tree. But I already have this one. We're gonna paint that in red, and we're gonna give that 2 coats of paint. I used chalk paint from Dixie Belle in this beautiful color to paint the whole piece. Also, don't forget the sides and cover everything. We're gonna set aside this to dry, and while it dries, we're gonna work on our letters. You can get the self-adhesive letters from the Dollar Tree. I didn't find the color that I wanted, so I got the black and we're gonna paint them. I got a cellophane bag and I placed the letters on them, the Peppermint Lane. I'm not still sure if I'm gonna use the lane part, but I put the peppermint letters. I'm gonna paint them in white paint. And as you can see, this is gonna need 2 coats. So I'll put in the first coat, leave it to dry, and then add another coat of paint. While they dried, I got a piece of foam clay. I used this one from Hobby Lobby. It's originally for $3.99, but I got this one for $2 on sale. I'll roll the foam clay and I'm gonna try to make the whole string the same size as much as I can. And once I was done, I got another piece of red foam clay. By the way, I always get white foam clay and then I add a color to it, so I don't have to buy too much foam clay at once. So this is an affordable, easy way to color the foam clay. So far, I have used acrylic paints and chalk paint, and I found that any water-based paint works great to color the foam clay. So you can always get just the white and mix the colors that you like. I kind of tuck them together and then holding the ends, I started to twist. The foam clay sticks together so fast and so easy, so be careful while you are rolling the strings in the beginning. And I kept twisting that until I got this beautiful peppermint string. Then with the scissors, I cut that from the middle and I had 2 of them, and I'm gonna keep rolling and twisting until I get the size that I want. And then I'm gonna roll it to make it longer a little bit. And once that was done and the wood was dry, I'm gonna measure that on the top of our little sign. And I kind of twisted and played around with the clay to make it enough to measure the top and one of the sides. Then with the tacky glue, I added a little bit on the top, and then I stuck the foam clay. Foam clay doesn't work well with the hot glue, so I used the tacky glue. I didn't have that transparent one, so I used what I had, and I had this one already. So we stuck the foam clay using the tacky glue, and then I did the same exact steps to cover the bottom and the other side. I And I cut the end of the string with the scissors with a little angle so that when you put it on the other one, it really goes nice. Again, I put a little bit of glue on the side and on the bottom, and I stuck that all around. I took my time to make it nice and neat, and I also did the same thing on the other end with the scissors, and gently I pushed around the whole side. Now that our letters are dry, I put a ruler, make sure I have them aligned, and then I started placing the letters. I didn't stick them yet. I'm just trying to align them on the side. I ended up only adding the peppermint, and then once I was sure that this is where I want the letters, I stuck them using my fingers. I just pushed down the self-adhesive letters and they were stuck to the side. With the leftover piece of red and white foam clay, I made this swirly peppermint and I placed 2 on each end. And I'm so in love with how our sign turned out. It is absolutely stunning, on a budget, so easy, and takes less than 5 minutes. For this DIY, I'm gonna recycle this glass jar. It was a pickle jar. You can use any glass jar that you have, or you can get one from the Dollar Tree. I took the lid off and I'm gonna give it a coat of white primer, then I'm gonna give it another coat of white paint. Once our lid was dry, I got a piece of white foam and I'm gonna roll it to make a long string. I noticed that some of my rings are making marks on the foam clay, so I took them off and we're gonna continue rolling the foam clay. For this string, I don't want to make it too thin and I don't want to make it too thick, and you're gonna know why in just a minute. And once I was done, I got some of the tacky glue and I put some on the lid, and then I started rolling around the foam clay. I want to give that the ice cream twirl look. So I started with the edges and I kept rolling around the lid and the foam clay and making layers until I got all the way to the top. Then I twisted and cut the foam clay. I kept playing around with the top until I got the look that I wanted, and I'm loving how it's turning out. Then gently I kept pressing down the foam clay to cover all the spaces and to stick them together. Then again, I put some of the tacky glue, and with a little brush, I'm gonna brush this over. It's better to use the transparent tacky glue, but I didn't have that one, and since the ice cream twirl is already white, I'm gonna use the white tacky glue. I got this faux rainbow sprinkles, and I'm gonna sprinkle that all the way on the ice cream. Once I was done, I got this white fine glitter, and I'm gonna add some on the top. I am so in love with these colors and how our ice cream is turning out. Next, I got another piece of white foam clay and I rolled it. Then I'm gonna twirl it around to make a little piece of candy or lollipop or white lollipop that would match our ice cream on the top. I also put some tacky glue and I spread that on the top very gently, and again I put some of the faux sprinkles. Now once our ice cream was dry, I put the jar lid on the top. And again, you should not use hot glue as I did over here. I just want to show you how it's going to look if you added this one in here. But I'm not sure if I'm going to add it on the jar or not. But I'm going to use this jar for candy, for cereal, anything on the countertop. And I'm so in love with how it turned out. It's such an easy Candyland DIY that costs less than $2 and takes less than 5 minutes. For this DIY, I got the foam clay that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's originally for $3.99, but it was on sale for $2. Took out a piece and I kneaded it with my hands to make it softer, and then I added some pink chalk paint to mix in the pink color. I usually get the foam clay in white and then mix my colors. It is so much affordable this way than getting lots of colors. And so far, I have tried the acrylic and the chalk paint, and it works so good with the foam clay. So I think you can use any water-based paint to color your foam clay, but experiment it yourself and see what colors work for you. And it actually didn't make a big mess on my hands. Once you knead it and combine it together, you're not gonna have a lot of paint on your hands, but you can always use gloves if you want. But it wasn't that bad. Once it was done, I got another piece of white foam clay, and I'm gonna roll both pieces to make 2 long strings. I'm trying to make them almost the same thickness, and then I'm gonna cut both together. Foam clay sticks so fast on itself, so be careful while doing that. Once I was done, I hold the ends and I started twisting both on each other, just like that. I kept twisting the foam clay until I got the look that I wanted. Always play around. You can roll it, you can make it longer, and it is so much fun playing around with the foam clay. Once I was done, I started shaping this into candy canes. Shaped it until I got the size that I wanted, and then I cut the first one again, and I'm gonna shape this piece from the top, roll it a little bit, and then shape it one more time to make another candy cane. And I like to cut this with the scissors because it gives you a neater cut. Now we're gonna set these aside to dry, and we're gonna use the last piece, but not to make a candy cane, but I'm gonna use it to make a little lollipop. I took the end and I started rolling it around. Keep holding the base and roll the string around. And I love how it turned out. It is so cute. And then I sprinkled glitter on the top of them. Once they were dry, I got a piece of silver string, and I'm gonna turn these into ornaments. So I'm gonna use that ribbon to make the strings to hang them on the tree. I am so in love with how this turned out. Absolutely cute. Looks so nice on the Christmas tree. You can make so many different colors. You can make them in different sizes. Such a beautiful and easy and affordable way to make Candyland decorations for your tree this season. For this DIY, I got one of the Dollar-Tree ornaments with the pink foam clay that I previously mixed. It was white foam clay, but I mixed it with pink. I'm gonna roll that piece of foam clay and I'm gonna cover the ornament with it. I covered the whole thing around and twisted the extra foam clay, and I cut this, and gently I pressed a little bit with my hands and lift this aside. Now I rolled the leftover piece and I cut it into half. And I'm gonna use this to turn this ornament into faux candy. So I kept shaping that piece to make the candy ends. And I did the same exact thing on the other piece. And again, I cut the extra. It's always easier to use scissors. I couldn't find my scissors that minute, so I used whatever I had next to me. And you can stick that to the ends. Look how cute this candy looks. And then with the leftover foam clay that we had shaping these pieces, I'm gonna make a very thin string and I'm gonna shape that into a bow. So I made a little bow, cut it with the scissors that I finally found, and I'm gonna put one on each end. Then I made two little dots using the foam clay and I put that in the middle of the bows. Once I was done, I sprinkled silver glitter on the top, and I am so in love with how this looks. You can absolutely make different colors, and you can use it as a tabletop Candyland decorations, or you can add a string and use it as an ornament, just like I did over here. Using the tacky glue, I stuck this ribbon on the back, and I kind of pressed it to go inside the foam clay, and I turned this one into an ornament, and I'm so in love with how it turned out. Such an easy Candyland DIY that costs less than $2 and takes less than 5 minutes. For this DIY, I got one of these Dollar-Tree plastic cups. They come in a pack, but I'm gonna only use one of them. And then I got the Mod Podge, and I'm gonna add some inside the cup, and I'm gonna mix that with the color that I'll be using, which is pink acrylic paint, and I'm gonna mix both the Mod Podge and the pink together. And once I mix that, I'm gonna cover the inside of the cup with the pink color. I tried to make sure to cover everything, and I'm actually gonna give that 2 coats to make sure the whole inside of the cup is covered. Once the cup was dry, I got this icing bags and attachment from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 12 bags and they have the one attachment coming with it. I put them aside and I got one of these foam balls that I also got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna take one and I'm gonna cut a little piece from the top. And we'll leave that aside. Then I got another piece of foam. You know me, I always keep the foam that comes with the packages from Amazon or from anything, and I use them in my DIYs. So I cut this piece, and with the hot glue gun, I'm gonna stick that to the top of the cup. Then I'm gonna stick the white piece of foam that we cut right on the top of that one. Then with the soft spackle, you can get that from the Dollar Tree or you can get that from Walmart. I got the lightweight one and I got my icing bag ready and I put the attachment inside and I'm gonna start filling the icing bag with the spackle. Once I was done, I started icing the top. I am not a big fan of this attachment, but this is the one that came with the icing bag. I just added a little bit more of a spackle until I got the look that I wanted. But if you have different attachments, of course, you can use them. And it's not so hard to shape the icing around it. Once I was done, I used the lollipop that we made from the previous DIY and I put that on the side. And I also cut one of the candy canes and I placed that on the top. Then I got some beads that I had from Michael's. These were on sale for around $1 each. And I had that for a long time, but I'm still using them. You can also get beads from the Dollar Tree or use any beads that you have. And I'm gonna sprinkle some of the white and pink beads on the top of the spackle. And after that, I sprinkled some of the fine white glitter. I am so in love with how this cup turned out. It is so cute. You can use that as an ornament or as a tabletop Candyland decor. So easy, so affordable, and takes less than 5 minutes. For this DIY, I got this little cup from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack and it has so many cups. So I got one of them and with a piece of foam that I already had, I'm gonna stick that to the top of the cup. And with the spackle, I'm gonna start icing the top of our cup. Then I put the peppermint foam candy that we made previously. I put one on the side. Then I got these pearls that I also got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm gonna stick them on the top of the spackle. And the last step would be adding some red glitter. Such an easy way to make Candyland decorations on a budget. Use this one as a tabletop decor. Or you can add one of the ornament attachments right on the top of the spackle before it dries. I am so in love with how this turned out. Such an easy Candyland DIY for less than $1. You can make different colors and different versions of these, turn them into ornaments. You can gift them or you can use them for your Christmas decorations this year. For this project, I got one of these round wooden coasters and I'm gonna paint them in this beautiful pink chalk paint that I got from Dixie Belle, and I'm gonna cover the whole top. I'm gonna also cover the sides in the same color. I gave it 2 coats, and once it was dry, I put in a hook that you can actually self-tap it inside the ornament, and it's so easy. We're gonna use this little wooden coaster to make a beautiful ornament. I got a silver ribbon and I'm gonna tie it from inside of the hook to use it as a hanger. I trimmed off the excess and then with the glue, I'm gonna cover almost half of the ornament. I also covered the sides and I got this beautiful faux sprinkles and I'm gonna cover the top half and the sides. I am so in love with these colors. It kind of looks like a Christmas donut ornament. And once I was done covering all the sides and the top, I got white glitter and I'm gonna sprinkle that on the top before the glue dries. Once my ornament was dry, I got the self-adhesive letters from the dollar store and I'm gonna add in the word joy. Then I got pink and teal ribbon in those same pastel beautiful colors and I'm gonna make a little bow. I hot glued the ends of the pink ribbon to make a little bow and then I put it on the top of the blue one. And then with the same ribbon that I used to make the hanger, I tied both together from the back. And with the hot glue gun, I attached that on the top of the hook. I am so in love with how it turned out. It looks so Christmassy and it looks delicious. I also made another one in white. I cut the word joy on my silhouette in white vinyl and it turned out stunning. For this project, I got red and white yarn from the Dollar Tree and I got a straw. And with the hot glue gun, I'm gonna wrap this yarn around the straw. We're gonna try to make little Christmas candy using just the straw and the yarn that we got from the Dollar Tree. I keep adding some hot glue and wrapping it until I covered the straw. Once I was done, I got the wooden skewers that you can also get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna stick that inside the straw. I got the glue, and with my fingers, I put a little bit around the candy and I sprinkled some glitter. So that was my first attempt making that Christmas faux candy. But for the second one, I did it way better. I started by attaching the wooden skewer to the straw first. It makes it so much easier than how we did it the first time. Once I did that, I got the lighter and I also burned the edges of the yarn so it won't frail, which I forgot to do the first time. Then I stuck that on the top with the hot glue gun, and we're gonna use the same steps wrapping the yarn around the straw. Now once that was done, I got the lighter and I went around the yarn because it was a little fuzzy. I noticed the first one that we did had a little fuzz around the yarn, and that makes it so crisp and neat. And this time, I'm not gonna use the glue. I'm gonna use the clear coat because it's not so slimy as the glue that I used the first time, so it keeps it nice and clean. And it doesn't make the yarn fuzzy. I sprinkled some glitter. I then tied satin ribbon on the bottom, and I made a little bow with the red satin ribbon, and I stuck that on the top of the white one, and I wrapped the white one around it. Let me know what you think. I actually love how this turned out. I can make more and put them into a little vase and decorate my table or my tray with them. I love how they turned out. Now, this is one of the easiest DIY projects for Christmas. I got this red apple from the dollar store. They have them in green, white, and red, but for this project, we're gonna use the red. All we're gonna do is you're gonna get a plate or some of the glue on the top, and we're gonna make some faux candy. We're gonna make some faux apple candy. So I poured the glue on the top, and I kind of moved the apple to the sides to mimic as if you put the caramel or a white sugary sauce, whatever we put on the top. I don't really eat that, but just to mimic the syrup that you can put on the top of the apple. And then I sprinkled some gold and red glitter. I didn't have any more white straws, so I used a pencil that I also had from the Dollar Tree, and I painted it in white. Once both were dry, I made a little bow, and I stuck that to the bottom of the pencil using my hot glue gun. And then I stuck the pencil on the top of the apple. I kind of love how it turned out. You can use different colors. You can add a paint to the glue if you would like, but I love it that way. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Merry Christmas, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.